I'm Lars Mapstead, a passionate admirer of hip-hop and old-school rap. I hope you are too. I stand before you as a testament to overcoming adversity, a man who pushed back against the system's boundaries to claim his piece of the American dream. Like many of you, and like the man I'm about to introduce, I grew up facing trials. Poverty was my cradle, school was my battlefield, and the system was my challenge. In this harsh reality, I found solace and inspiration in artists like Too Short and Two Live Crew. Their fearless authenticity echoing my own journey. And today, we're here to celebrate a voice that personifies a struggle and triumph over life's harsh realities. A voice that embodies our shared love for old school rap, and like me, he has danced with the system to lay claim to his slice of the American dream. That voice belongs to none other than Afroman. Growing up in East Palmdale, Los Angeles, surrounded by danger and often disrespected, Afroman pushed back against the world that seemed to stack the odds against him. Through the metamorphosis of life's trials, from trouble at school to the musical stage, he found his voice, delivering powerful stories wrapped in bold lyrics. Like us, he stared into the face of adversity and said, "I am still the American dream." The story of Afroman is not just about overcoming adversity, but also finding humor in life's unexpected moments. His recent hit, Lemon Pound Cake, paints a vivid picture of such an instance. It tells of a humorous tale of a sheriff intended to make a drug bust, who instead finds himself captivated by the irresistible aroma and taste of a simple lemon pound cake. Just like the sheriff in Lemon Pound Cake, who puts down his gun for a slice of life's sweeter side, Afroman too has found a way to balance the scales, making the most out of life's lemons. We all know the system is rigged. Afroman and I are both running for president of the United States in 2024. Let's work together to unrig the system. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome a man who's not just an artist, but a beacon of resilience, a testament to the power of dreams, and a constant reminder that even when life gets tough, there's always a slice, a lemon pound cake waiting for us if we choose to see it. Please give it up for Afroman and Larry Sharpe.
Hey, everybody.
All right.
How you doing? Good. I am very happy to be here because I want to talk about the police. I want to talk about the war on drugs. I want to talk about the system that will hurt people, our legal system, but not in the way that you might think. I'm not going to sit here and say all cops are bad or, oh my God, end this or end that. I'm not going to say that. I want you to think about a system that actually does one terrible thing over all the things it does. It is a war on black entrepreneurship. Yep, I said it. A war on black entrepreneurship. And I think this man here is an example of that. Even when he was young, he was out there trying to sell his records, getting thrown out of school, having problems. And then once he makes the money, they come after him again. And then for so many people who aren't successful, they go to jail, they now have a criminal record, they come out, they can't get a job, so they try to work on the street to make money, and the cops come by and take that too. And that happened again and again and again. Tell me, am I wrong?
Yeah, you're not wrong. There's a term they call asset forfeiture. It is a big word for robbery.
Yes. Yes. And I want to bring this piece up. Some of you may not know this. You might say, well, wait a minute. If they take someone's money, it's because they've been convicted of a crime, right? No. It's because the cops come by and say, I think you may have done something wrong, maybe, could be. They take the money, and the only way you get your money back is if, I'm not joking, you can prove it wasn't. That's right. You don't have to be convicted. You don't have to even be charged. So what do? There's literally an industry in this world today where you can be a lawyer who your job is to get back that money, and you take 30% of it to get it back. That's how it works. So if you lose all your money to civil asset forfeiture, you don't have enough of it left to get your money back from civil asset forfeiture. So in your case, they actually came into your home and just took your money.
Yes. Then when I've had some cops take $64,000 from me, I did 10 shows. I did 6 shows for like 10,000 or a little more or less a piece. I had $64,000. These cops, they took the money, then they reported 54,000.
Well, they probably had mortgage payments, I'm just saying.
And I never got that money back. Then I had the Adams County Sheriff raid my house. They took my money. They were a little better. They gave it back, but they kept 400 of it.
Okay, yes.
So, yeah, if you have loose cash, the right police officers will take it, and it's their word against yours.
But I want to ask you, when they took that money, did you get charged with something?
No, they just took it.
Just took it. Just took it.
It was a robbery.
Yes,
We
absolutely.
we can dress it up, but it was force or fear, and it was both of them.
Absolutely.
They forced me to give them my money, and I was scared to take it back.
There we go.
I got robbed.
Yes. You were probably smart in what you did, though. You probably were.
Yeah, I was.
Yes, absolutely. But something worse happened, right? So now after this whole incident happens, you now decide to show the world with the video.
Yes.
And when you show the world with the video, what the cops actually did when they came into your house, they literally ate your food. Right? I mean, took your money, right?
Yeah. They disconnected my camera. Now, I watch a lot of 48 Hours. I don't know how many other people watch 48 Hours, but cameras help law enforcement solve crimes.
Sure.
And in my opinion, the only people that want to disconnect cameras is somebody that's fixing to do something wrong or illegal. So I didn't understand them disconnecting my camera after they've been in my house 4 or 5 hours, knowing it was cleared. The cameras will help them verify that they are good guys and not criminals camouflaged as law enforcement. And I don't mean that every cop is like this. Of
course.
But there ought to be something in place for a criminal in law enforcement that's not doing things right.
So to be clear, they were in your house already for 4 or 5 hours. Didn't find you. They were supposed to find, weren't you, kidnappers or something? Was that the story?
They were looking for a dungeon.
There we go. That's right. Yes.
I had kidnapping victims down there chained to the wall, and they were looking for 1 million pounds of weed.
There we go. 1 million pounds of weed and people you kidnapped.
Right.
Did they find any of those things?
I got an old wooden farmhouse. I don't even have a basement.
There we go.
No kidnapped victims, especially in my suit pockets and my CDs. And then they disconnected my camera, and there's no telling what they took. There's only, what I seen on my cameras before the cameras was cut off.
So now they decided afterwards that you now showed the world what that was. They then decided to sue you.
Yes.
So now this is all of a sudden your fault.
They come to my house with assault rifles in front of my children ready to kill me. I write a humorous song about the situation, and they want to sue me. They were very sarcastic about fixing my doors. If I got 1 million pounds of weed, fine, bust me, take me to jail. If I got kidnapping victims in a dungeon underneath my house, fine, arrest me and take me to jail. But since I don't, he should be a little more apologetic. He should upgrade my treatment to a law-abiding civilian and be more diplomatic with me when he's talking. They were very sarcastic about putting my door back up. And then when I make a humorous song to make money for the damages they did to my home, they get mad about it and they sue me for humiliation, embarrassment, lack of morale, and I wonder what they think I felt.
Yes, absolutely. But this goes back to my point, right? So now you now are harmed by the police force at this point. And instead of you going to a life of crime or doing something crazy, you just go back to your trade. You go back to music, you go back to selling music, you go back to making money.
Right.
And instead of them going, you know what, fine, he's doing the right thing, let me leave him alone.
Yes.
They instead come after you. Again, they come after the entrepreneurship.
They come to kill me in front of my kids. They disconnect my cameras, steal my money, then they get upset when I crack a joke about what they did. They came to my house with real bullets.
Right.
But I can't crack a joke and be positive about the situation.
But you don't live in what people would think as a tough New York City neighborhood or tough Los Angeles neighborhood. You live in Ohio, right?
Yes.
So why would they come after you in the first place? Like, were you doing something bad? Did somebody swat you? Why would that happen?
I don't want to say it, but I know the possible common denominator is, it doesn't, me being black doesn't help.
Sure.
And then if someone lies on me, many African Americans, you probably know, like, you get the police called on you. I remember as a little kid when I would walk down the street, and if I saw a curtain to a window open and then close again, I could time when the squad car was going to pull up on the side of me.
I got it.
But anyway.
So let me move back to the most important piece. So then how do we then make that change, right? I don't think in my heart I don't think the individual police officers themselves are trying to do the wrong thing.
Right.
I don't believe that. I mean, some of you may disagree with me, but I don't believe that. But I do believe the system pushes them into doing things that make a lot of people feel uncomfortable and wind up being unfair.
Right.
I think it does do that. That's why I think we need systemic change right away. Right away.
This is what I've come to the conclusion of. There are two races in this world. There's good people, and then there's bad people.
Yes.
I can get killed by another black man tonight, or a bunch of cops could beat me up on the side of the freeway. The bad people, I can get it from the good people need to come together and police the bad people.
Yes. Yes.
All police officers need to have cameras. No camera, no paycheck. And police officers ought to be monitored by good civilians. For the people, by the people. This way they can't edit videos, and the good cops don't have nothing to hide. And if the bad cops have a bad pattern, sooner or later, they will get caught. There's always gonna be bad in life. There's always gonna be racism. There's always gonna be police brutality. What we need is a remedy. There's always gonna be the common cold, but we know what to do when you get a cold. You get some vitamin C, you get some lemons, you get some penicillin. Well, there ought to be a remedy for criminals in law enforcement, police officers abusing their authority. And when these things, when they come back around, the proper things are done. I believe that civilians need to monitor cameras on the officers and supervise them. If you don't have a supervisor, you're liable to do anything. And then we need to take away immunity. This way, police officers have to obey the laws they represent.
I like that. Well, I also want to touch, if I could, the thing that bothers me, one of the things that bothers me the most is the idea of just taking the money. Now, if someone is convicted of a crime or charged or something, then I could see how you might want to take someone's funds if you're aware that they are ill-gotten funds, right? The person's convicted of a crime, they stole the money, okay. But they're taking the money so that now, if I'm someone who is either is debanked or I'm afraid of banking, and with cancellation, you getting canceled nowadays, you get debanked. So all of a sudden now, where's your money gonna go, except it's in cash somehow. So now someone takes your money because they think you're a bad guy or a bad gal. you can't even get enough money for a lawyer. Literally, you can't get a lawyer. How is that fair? This is what drives me crazy.
It's not. Asset forfeiture needs to end.
Yes, absolutely.
It's legal robbery. So,
absolutely. And the first thing we have to do is just, there's a way, if you can't end the law, you can do something else. You can cap the amount that any municipality can take. And you can cap it low, like you can take $5 a year. That's it. You've just ended civil asset forfeiture. Because if they can't use anymore, it just sits there. And they have to give it back to the people. They'll stop taking. Right? The reason is, some of you probably know this, we have spent so much time throwing money at our police and not throwing training at them, throwing money at them, and packing up, particularly administrators. It's expensive to have a police force. Well, it's so expensive, and now my tax base is going, now what am I going to do? I now have to turn my police force into a profit center. And many of you have seen it. The police force becomes the profit center. They're giving you tickets, they're writing you this, they're writing that, they're taking your assets. Once police and law enforcement are a profit center, they're no longer law enforcement. They're not protecting you anymore. They're now an arm of the government, and that's all they are. We don't want that.
No. Yeah.
So let me add, if I could. You also said you wanted them to end qualified immunity. This is an idea that people have talked about in the past. The idea that a cop is not assumed to be immune. A cop is like anyone else. They're just a human being, and if they get in trouble, they get into trouble. But qualified immunity doesn't only go to cops. It goes to government agencies also. It goes to judges. It goes to other enforcement officers. It goes to congressmen. It goes all over the place. So it makes them a protected class, and a protected class that is ultra powerful. How are you a protected class if you're an ultra powerful? It doesn't make any sense. So now you're both protected class and now ultra powerful. And the sad part is, to your point, now we're afraid. We can't do anything. You couldn't get your money back because you feared for your life. This to me is totally wrong. And here's the worst part. Someone like you who's popular, someone like you who can get an audience is great. What about the literally thousands, if not millions of people who have no chance? None whatsoever. And it's not because they are black, it's because they are poor. That's the reality of it. And sadly, often that means you are black also. But it's because you are poor. It's the wrong way. If we're going to say we're being fair, it's got to be fair for everybody. I'm glad you're here to say something. I am. But you have to have known people who have been hurt and had no recourse.
I'm glad I took my surveillance footage and I made videos and I pointed out things that these officers was doing. And there's so many people that don't have cameras, or they just, things wasn't set up where they could prove what's going on. They say, that happened to me, I just didn't have the platform. I didn't have the voice, I didn't have the spotlight to bring attention to it. So, everybody needs to obey the law. If there's a law, then we all need to obey it. And here again, a lot of small people are getting stepped on.
Yes.
So things need to be put in place, to protect everybody.
And I would ask all of you that the next time you hear and someone says, the cops came in and took all my stuff and I didn't do anything, to maybe think the person's telling the truth. To maybe think that actually happened. You can clap for that, it's a good thing to clap for. To actually believe in one thing that we talk about but don't understand. We say the idea that every American is innocent until proven guilty. And I want to change that a little bit. It's not innocent until proven guilty. It's innocent unless proven guilty. Just because someone is accused doesn't mean they're a convict. Unless, not until. So from your experience, from what happened to you, what advice would you have to everybody out here?
Install cameras and hide the DVR so they can't disconnect it, All cops are not bad, all people are not bad. But there's going to be that percentage of humanity that does things that are not right. So cameras are good. When you see it, that ends it. You don't have to hoop and holler. Everybody should provide. Then we need to end immunity, put cameras on all police officers. The good cops don't have nothing to hide. And then eventually bad cops will get caught doing whatever they do wrong. And then let's get good civilians monitoring the police department. And if you're watching them, you're supervising them, you know if something bad happens, you know if they did the right thing. It won't be a lot of speculation, a lot of criminals
Absolutely.
walking free after they violate people's human and civil rights.
Community policing and being part of your community is clearly the answer. And remember, innocent unless proven guilty. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, brother.